All right, so you are watching this video because you needed a little extra help with the questions that you were on. And we're going to do what kind of looks like a brain dump here. And one of the topics that are covered in your question in this TEK folder is coordinate graphing. And remember, coordinate graphing, we would draw our 4 quadrants and we would put the big C in our quadrants. Remember, for coordinate plane? And remember, the big C started in quadrant 1 and it continued on to quadrant 2, then into quadrant 3, and it ended in quadrant 4. From here also, I knew that if the number line was going to the right, I knew that my number lines, on my number line, that they were positive numbers. Because remember, right here was my origin. This represented 0. And anything to the right of a number line is a positive number. And I have to remember that this represented my X. And I remember that this represented my Y. And anytime I go up the number line, it was also positive. So my ordered pair for my X and my Y, because remember, all ordered pairs have an X and then a Y, I can see that my X is positive because I am moving to the right, and my Y is also positive because my coordinate will be moving up the number line. Okay, over here for quadrant 2, I see that my numbers are going to the left, so my X is going to be negative because my numbers are going to move to the left of 0. So X should be negative because they are moving left, so I'm just going to draw an arrow going left. And my Y is still going up, so my Y coordinate will still be a positive coordinate. Okay, now I'm going to go down the big C, and I see that my numbers are still going left, so my X is going to be negative because it is moving left. And now my numbers are going down from 0. So my Y will also be a negative because I know if I have a vertical number line, 0 is the middle, the origin. Remember, this is the origin. And my numbers are going down. So 0, beneath 0 would be a negative number. And then my last quadrant, quadrant 4, again, I see that I'm moving, my X is moving to the right, so that is positive on my number line. And I see here that Y is still moving down. So if Y is moving down, I know that that's going to be a negative. Okay, so just remember your coordinate graphing. Another thing I'm going to remind you of is complementary and supplementary. Remember, I said comp is the sum of 2 angles. So let's put sum of 2 angles that equals 90 degrees. So complementary is the sum of 2 angles that equal 90 degrees. Most often you'll see complementary angles if they lie on that right angle. And remember, the square here tells you that it is a perfect right angle. So usually complementaries will look like this, and they might say an X here, and they might say this one's 45. So to set up the equation, then you would say like X plus 45 is going to total 90. So if you see a right angle, which are complementary angles, you know that they're equal to 90. Remember your sup too. Your sup is your supplementary angles, and this is the sum of 2 angles that equal 180 degrees. Remember, the comp, I told y'all, kind of looks like 90. See there how the C kind of turned into 90 degrees? That's a cool way to remember it. And the sup, y'all, turns into what looks like an 8. We can turn the O and then put a 1 in front. It kind of looks like 180 degrees. You'll usually typically see these on straight angles because straight angles total 180 degrees. And how you'll typically see that is you'll see a line through it. They might say, hey, this one equals 145 degrees, and they might be asking you to find x. So remember, you're going to set it up, x plus 145 totals 180. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to talk to you is about inequalities. So inequalities. Remember, your less than symbol, if you think of a number line, left is less. So your arrow will point to the left to show less than, and right is more, or right is greater. So if the little arrow is pointing to the right, then it is a greater than symbol. So remember, this is a less than symbol. This would be a less than or equal to, so less than or equal to. And then, because see how they're pointing left? And then the greater than symbol, this would just be a regular greater than symbol. And then this would be a greater than or equal to symbol. All right, remember here though, the less than, if I just said less than, so you must be less than 5, 5 could not fill that inequality. Now if I said you must be less than 5 or equal to, then 5 would fit that inequality. Remember, the line means to include the value. Same thing for the greater than. If I said greater than 5, then 5 could not be a possible solution for just a greater than symbol. But if I said greater than or equal to 5, then yes, 5 could be a solution for this symbol. Remember, the line underneath the inequality means or equal to. That means yes, you can include that value. If it's just a greater than, then that means you want something actually greater than 5. So 6 or 5 and 1/10 would suffice, but not 5. If I said less than 5, then yes, I can say 4 or 4 and 9/10, but I cannot say 5. Okay? All right, hopefully that helps.